It is good to be back. Had a great time in Italy, but
You know who else
I
had
am
a great
happy
time?
Who? What?
Your wife.
Oh,
I was following her Instagram.
She had a great time.
She was like partying with friends, drinking. She had people hanging out with her at work.
I know she went to a big country concert.
A country concert. She was like living the time of her life without you.
She had a great old time.
Okay, so I have this question, and it's been tearing at me.
Gnawing at you, really.
This has been eating at me ever since you left and returned. I watched your wife having a good time and realized she has to drive to those places. Did she park on the street the whole time? Were your bollards up? Or did she figure you're not home, so bollards were down the whole time? And what happened? Was your TRX stolen?
Those are a lot of questions.
I have to know.
It's easy to explain with one phrase. Truck hit Banks. So I left my truck in the warehouse at Banks, locked up, and bollards could stay down because no one's going to steal the other cars that are there. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the criminals are now going, no truck, no bollards. Let's rob the house.
I don't think anyone's coming. It's not a factor.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So it was easy. And she appreciated it. She didn't want to put them up and down, so I just left the truck up there.
I get it. So you did that for her.
I actually did do it for her. I literally did it for her. I mean, it would have been easier for me to just leave the bollards up and she has to put them up and down every time I'm going in and out, but I was not going to do that for 10 days. I don't want to punish her.
So how was Italy?
It was amazing. So we flew into Rome. We were on Air France through Delta. So I was on
code share.
So 3 of the 4 legs were Air France. 1 was Delta. Air France, fine, whatever. It was comfortable, but except for the snacks they give you are just shit. The cookies are sand. The sandwiches steal every bit of moisture from your mouth. So if you're going to fly in Air France, be prepared for you won't have to pee afterwards because their food will have taken all the moisture out of your body.
Oh, that's probably why they do it. So you don't have people fighting over the bathroom.
It's entirely
9
possible.
hours into an 11-hour flight.
It's possible. And what's crazy is that 9 hours over from L.A. to Paris is 9 hours. And then we hop on a little puddle jumper and then go over to Rome. But on the way back, Rome to Paris, still 2 hours. And then Paris to home, 11 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours longer.
Headwind.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 2 hours?
Yeah.
Jeez, I could have walked home faster.
What kind of planes were you on?
I don't have a clue.
So I'm collecting airplanes. So I've been on an Airbus A220, an Airbus 319, a A320, A321, which are all part of the same family. I've been on never on a I think I have been on a 330, but not a 340. And I have been on a 350, which is the new one, but not on a double-decker A380. Never been on those. But on the Boeing side...
I've never been on a double-decker jet of any kind.
Oh, man. So check this out. So I've been on the DC-9s, MD-80, 717s.
Yeah, those are all old, right?
All old.
Yeah.
Been on plenty of 737s in my day. I've been on the 757, which is my favorite plane of all time because it's super sexy and powerful.
Okay.
767, which was one of the...
Oh, by the way, saw a Concorde at the Paris airport.
It's there on display.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Never got to be on the Concorde. Figure that one out. And then I've been on a Boeing 777. I have been on a Boeing Dreamliner 787, and then with the 7.
Why do they call it the Dreamliner?
It's one of the first ones where it's almost all composite body, super efficient, uses the dimming technology on the windows, and because it can be pressurized to a lower altitude, you don't get as tired or fatigued and as dehydrated as you do on the regular plane. So anyway, Dreamliner. And then the 747 was the best of all time. Jason Gonnerman and I were flying to Amsterdam on...
Tell me you went upstairs to the bar.
No, we were upstairs. Our seats were upstairs. We were in the hump.
What?
And it was a combi, which is even way cooler because half the plane's a cargo plane, and the front half of it is the seats. So when you walk in, there is a wall down the center aisle with just a bunch of seats, and then you walk up the staircase, and you're up in the hump, and it was awesome.
Was there a bar up there?
No, but we got served whatever we wanted.
Oh, because it wasn't that the deal with a lot of those?
Back in the day, they
had a bar
when
upstairs.
Flying was glamorous and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah, people dressed up. I was trying to explain that to my kids, is that people dressed up in their Sunday best to go on a flight, and now you got all the girls like rolling in their sweats.
Yeah, and then a lot of butt cracks.
And a lot of butt cracks, and everyone's got the little donut around their neck so they can sleep and all that stuff. And
it's just not glamorous.
It's not at all. So Italy was great. I noticed that there are no trucks at all anywhere.
No
pickup
Ivecos?
trucks. No. Pickup trucks.
Okay.
There are Ivecos everywhere. My kid's like, what's an Iveco? And I said, it's a big rig truck manufacturer, or they make all sorts of stuff, but they were
headquartered in
everywhere.
Turin, Italy.
Well, that explains it, because they were freaking everywhere. I saw one Ram, and I saw
interesting.
I saw it drive past me when I was walking
New or
into
old?
brand new.
Any bank stuff?
It was gas.
Oh.
So no bank stuff that I could see. And it whizzed past me. Great exhaust note. Wasn't a TRX. As I was entering Lamborghini. Yeah, I went to the Lamborghini
I did see those
factory.
photos.
Yeah, that was
That
cool.
was pretty cool.
I went to the Urus manufacturing plant. And then we toured. We went all through the tour. So listen, they're in this area within like 30 miles. You've got Ferrari, Pagani, Ducati, Lamborghini, like all the major brands that we all lust after, right? From motorcycles to cars. And I didn't have time. There's tours that I found out later that over the course of 2 days, when you stay in like the Modena area, Modena? Yeah. You can pay a service and they'll bring you to all of them, right? You get a bus and they tour you around. You go to all the famous factories. I didn't know that. I just went to Lamborghini, I bought a couple of tickets. It wasn't much money. And I would highly recommend it. And so you go there, you go to the museum, you check in. You got your time, and they give you the backstory on.
Were there any Lamborghini tractors there?
There were, but I didn't see any.
Oh, bummer.
There were, yeah. And they had a lot of stories about, that's how they got started with the tractors and all that stuff. So it's funny to hear the story about Ferruccio Lamborghini, how he had his get-rich scheme. I guess after the war, Second World War, whatever it was, there were German tanks that just littered the countryside in that area. Just on farms all over the place. Just literally, they just abandoned tanks everywhere. And so he went and basically, wouldn't call it looted, but they were just there for the taking. And he pulled all the engines out of them and just made tractors. And so it was all pure profit. And he made a buttload of money. And that's where he got the money to go start Lamborghini. The girl took us around and we hopped in a shuttle. We went all the way around this big campus. And then in the back door to the Urus factory, which is largely funded by the Audi group, and it is absolutely state-of-the-art and amazing. You know, they have all the trays where the body comes in and it takes it to each station, and everything is robotic. It was really cool, and it was funny. Almost everyone on my particular tour, like, lusted after Lamborghinis and didn't have one. Apparently, there was another business group there where a lot of them...
And then you found out that your wife leased a Urus while you were out of town?
That would have been
funny. And then you're like, oh, I have one.
No, she didn't.
Okay,
God, that would have been awful. I mean, it would have been great for a minute, but then I would have got the first payment. Yeah.
Womp womp.
So anyway, it was great. If you're in that area of Sonagata, which is just outside of Bologna, I recommend going there because there's nothing in that area other than amazing food. Wait. If you go to Lamborghini...
Well, hold on. This is in the audio that you got from the Lamborghini factory, right?
I didn't get any.
What?
You were not allowed to take my phone. I had to check my phone in.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to you.
Couldn't even fake it first.
I could no. I mean, I didn't.
Okay.
So they were like, check your phone in. So anyway, I did that. If you're standing at the front door of Lamborghini and you walk out that front door and you hang a left down the street and you hang another quick left, you're at a restaurant. And I forget the name of it, but it's the only one in the area. And it feels
Lamborghini restaurant.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
And all the workers, not all, but many of the workers go there. And we were there around 1 in the afternoon.
Is that the lasagna place?
Yes. You heard me talking about this.
I saw your
right?
picture of lasagna.
Oh my God, it's the best lasagna I've ever had.
It should be though.
And by the way, it's not on the menu. And I was told that.
Well, listen,
it wasn't on the menu.
It should be the best though.
So I went there, and we're sure enough, there's full of Lamborghini employees, like production workers and stuff there. I love it because everyone speaks English, and they do their best to speak English. So I didn't have to screw up. I didn't have to use the translator on the phone or whatever. I heard you have some good lasagna, and she goes, "We have the best." And I go, "I don't see it on the menu." And she goes, "It's not on the menu." And she comes back with this plate of lasagna. It was just. It was crispy on the outside, but super moist on the inside, and it tasted a little different than I've ever had. It was so great. I had my kid who's not into lasagna also loved it, which is great. That's my pro tip. If you go to Lamborghini and see that, if you can get the tour and do it all, do all the factories in the area, and just get your fill while you're there.
Would you go back?
Would I go back to Italy or would I go back to this area?
Either.
I would, yeah. I would. The stuff that is really surprised me about is we flew into Rome, had a couple days in Rome. We went to Florence, and then we went to Pisa, and then we went Bologna, Sonagata, and then there was all trains. Took everything. The bullet trains are amazing. You're doing 145 miles an hour, and it's just glass. You don't feel anything. It's just like when I went from London to Scotland to Edinburgh, same kind of thing. Just floats. It's amazing. They're on airbags. Did you know that? So the wheels,
some are maglev and some are on articulating suspension. And when it makes a turn, the hydraulics, I guess, can push the inside to make it more stable so that the train doesn't even lean.
So freaking amazing. Absolutely. It's incredible that we don't have any of that tech here. Like, it's just amazing. And they're all over
we'll
the
get a
place.
bullet train here in California soon enough.
Someday we will get one. Yeah. So anyway, I went to, and then we ended up in Venice. And so when we were, and I rented all different places. I got an Airbnb, and like one was an apartment, and then I got a hotel for others. It was just a mixed bag. Every 2 days we were switching places. So I like that. I didn't want to stay in the same place twice. And when we were in Florence, which is amazing, Rome was great. You got to see the Colosseum, you got to see all that stuff. Oh, when we were at the Colosseum, Holman, we did the Colosseum tour, which we took it on like it was either Friday or Saturday, which I don't recommend because it was like Disneyland times 100. Like the people there, it was just so crowded, shoulder to shoulder. Good time. Still, I would recommend doing it. And if you want references, I'll give them to you. Like the tour company, I had a really like wisecracking English lady that toured us. She's not from there, but she knew all the history. It was great. We get done with that, and we walked across from the Coliseum to this little hill. My kid's like, let's kill some time. I hear there's a skate park. He's into skateboarding. And so we walk over there, and like, there's an event here happening at 3 o'clock. Come back in 2 hours, and you can watch the event. We're like, oh, sure, okay. So we ate lunch, and we went back. Dude, Red Bull World Skate Finals.
Nice. About
500 yards from the Coliseum. We're watching this thing, the sun sets, and in the background, the Coliseum is all lit up. We're there like watching a Red Bull competition with skateboarders and scooter kids and all that stuff. It was just made for an epic night. So then a couple days later, we find ourselves in Florence, and I rent this tiny little apartment across the alley. It's like 7 feet wide, this alley. On this plaque, it's one building, like somebody would live there, but it was pretty good size. Just all alleyways there. Everything is alleys. It says Gucci right on the plaque there. And I'm just thinking it's probably like a satellite office, or I don't know, maybe it was one of the original residences for Gucci or whatever. And it turns out it's the original Gucci factory when they started in this little back alley. And we were posted up right next to it. And one day, because
so were you going through the trash can for blems?
No, they didn't have any of that stuff. So the doors were shut. I couldn't tell anything. It was just a little plaque on the next to the door that said Gucci. That's no address, nothing. And one of the days they had the 2 doors open. I stopped and I looked straight in, and there was some machinery and bags on display and stuff like that. I guess apparently it's private, invite only. So if you're like a high roller Gucci person, you can make an appointment and they'll take you through there. And like, this is where Gucci started.
Nice.
So that was really cool. We ended up going, like I said, to Bologna and go Sanagata to the Lamborghini factory, and then over to Venice. And Venice was amazing. I
really like the Gucci shoes you're wearing now. It totally goes with your Banks Power shirt.
You mean my black globes that I wore the whole time? Yes, exactly. It's funny, we talked to some locals about Gucci, and they're like, nah, Gucci's not the same. It's sold out. They sold out to big investment firms and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, like the rest of everything.
Yeah. So then we went up to Venice, and Venice is everything you've ever seen in every TV show or in every magazine ad. It is that. And it's just
like Vegas.
No. Well,
Paris. Where you have the gondolier going through the waterway.
Yes,
the Paris
it's just
casino.
like that. No, we didn't take any of that stuff. My kid didn't really care about that. But like, what I couldn't get over,
that would be weird to go on a romantic cruise with your kid.
I mean, you could they had taxis. They're all the taxis are boats. What's crazy to me about Venice? A couple things stuck out. Yes, the city is freaking sinking. It's bizarre.
Okay.
The ground floor of a lot of buildings, the water has destroyed the front door. And it's the first 3-4 inches of the door, the actual wooden door, has been eaten away. And in some cases, no one lives on the ground floor of these buildings anymore. Floors 2, 3, 4, and 5, I don't think there's anything over 5 stories. That's the tallest building in the whole city. There are people still living in there, but they vacated the bottom floor because you can't live there because of the water. And then the other thing that I found super interesting is that you can only get to these buildings, Holman, on foot. Can't even get on bicycle because the bridges all have steps to go over all of these waterways. And there's everywhere you turn, there's another canal. I mean, hundreds of canals everywhere. And these canals can range from 10 feet across to 50 feet across. 50 feet would be a big one. The Grand Canal is the one that kind of splits it all, but there's only one of those, and the big bridges that go for that. But like, dude, it's just bridges everywhere, and all the bridges have steps. So if you want to lug in your vegetables to your restaurant or your luggage to your house or whatever, you're going by hand, carrying it over bridges with steps. And I start to think, like, I wonder how they get like supplies in and out and trash and stuff. Sure enough, there's a trash boat. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
There's a freaking trash boat. They don't have a trash truck. In
Way easier to
metropolitan
dump it off
areas-
a bridge in the trash boat.
So, I mean, back in the day, they just threw everything right in the water and it made it out to the ocean, right? But now they have a boat with a crane, and the center of the boat is made out of metal. It's just a big metal box, and they have a crane, and they've got these special dumpsters that you pour all your stuff into, and they're shaped uniquely, and the arm picks it up and flips it upside down, pours it into the center of the boat. It's just like, what in the world? A trash boat. And then they take it to wherever, I don't know. I don't know where it goes, but it's like they have freaking trash boats. And then to get everything to your house, like the Amazon ship, we watched a dude with an Amazon vest. He comes in a boat. All the vegetables, all the food, everything coming in for the restaurants. Again, all by these little tiny boats. And they come super freaking early in the morning, and a lot of them are refrigerated. It's just, again, it's this totally different world. You don't think like... You think that there must be a back road in where they could drive a truck, right? A refrigerated truck.
Were there scooters?
No.
Bicycles?
No.
Weird.
You can't drive a bicycle up and down stairs.
Yeah, I guess not.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is a walk-only...
Did you get your steps in?
walk-only community. I've never walked so much in my life.
Nice.
Ever. I mean, dude, I actually lost a few pounds even though I was eating like an absolute pig. Pasta for every meal.
I hope the people listening to this podcast right now have enjoyed going on vacation with you.
I do not make it come alive. But if you saw the pictures that I posted...
At LBC Lighting.
The photos that I posted at LBC Lightning on Instagram, did I bring it alive? I think I did.
I don't know.
No?
I mean, I didn't feel like
There
it
was a
with
lot of
you.
selfies.
It was good. Yeah, I mean, it was good.
I mean,
I was like, cool. He's in Italy.
Yeah, but I mean...
For 10 days. So people don't realize, like, we haven't done this show for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we crammed a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning to make sure that we didn't leave you guys hanging. And so now we have to figure out...
I was editing on the plane.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we didn't record. We recorded like
Right.
4,000 hours in one sitting because we love our listeners.
I don't know if they appreciate that or not, but I was just... It allowed Holman to do some stuff, and allowed me to go on a trip. By the way, this was a graduation present for my oldest son who... when he graduated college, my parents and I, we pulled some money together, so he just wanted to go with me, and it was just the two boys trip. And my younger son is like, no. Take your older son.
Yeah,
That's
because
good.
he's planning on something even grander.
He probably is going to ask for a car or something stupid.
All right. I don't know if we're able to remember how to thank our sponsors, but I'm sure Nissan would be incredibly proud to hear that you went to a place where they could not possibly sell a vehicle. No cars are allowed.
No, there are no cars in Venice proper.
The Truck Show podcast is presented by our friends over at Nissan, and if you're in the market for a brand new truck, you want to head on down to your local Nissan dealership and check out the Nissan Frontier. The 25s are on the way right now. Great mid-cycle refresh, lots of tech, great pricing, rugged, durable, and dependable. You can't go wrong with a Nissan truck. NissanUSA.com to build and price, or head on down to your local dealership, and also keep your eyes open because the all-new Nissan Armada is on the way. And
Sweet.
As you guys heard in a previous episode, I am super impressed. Cannot wait to drive that, which I think...
I thought
next
you would
month or
have
something
heard,
like
but I was going to say, by now you should have got word that we're going to have one soon.
Well, I'm flying out somewhere to a top secret destination to go drive one in like a couple months.
I wasn't given an invite.
Nope, you sure weren't.
Damn it. Okay.
But I'll invite you on a road trip with me in one if we can make that happen with our friends at Nissan.
That'd be fun. I would do that. Okay. So, Holman, it's been a minute since we talked about the Banks Pedal Monster, and I want to refresh people's memories about what this product does. You've all driven a car or a truck that you felt like your input didn't match the output. Like you're giving it a lot of pedal, and it just took the engine a really long time to whether get up in a boost if it was a turbo car, or for the supercharger to spin up,
Or on a Wrangler 392.
All
Better
sorts of
throttle
vehicles.
tipping.
It was just interminable, right?
You know what? I drive a lot of vehicles in just my regular world.
Okay.
Do you know how often I get into something I'm like, oh man, a pedal monster sure would be nice in this?
It's funny because you're not the only person who said this. Like a lot of times now that people are becoming more familiar with Pedal Monster, they'll get in a car and go like, this could really use a pedal monster. Like they're grading the car on whether it needs a pedal monster or not. So what the Banks Pedal Monster allows you to do is tune the pedal and adjust the vehicle's response to your input, or vice versa. Almost all modern vehicles are drive-by-wire, and what that means is 50% pedal does not mean that you're getting 50% power. And with Pedal Monster, you can calibrate it to your own liking. So you can make 50% pedal, give 50% power. You'll find them for literally hundreds of cars and trucks at bankspower.com.
And I'm hoping you guys are listening to the AMSOIL episode, or have our 2 episodes of touring the
According
AMSOIL
to the
episode.
stats, a lot of you guys have listened.
Yeah,
so thank you.
And we've gotten some feedback. Would love to hear more. Hit us up at truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. I know that Lightning and I both really appreciated going there and getting to see how all that stuff comes together. But AMSOIL is a great product. Hopefully that came through in their dedication to quality as well. So if you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants, protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL's specialized products are engineered for extraordinary performance across automotive, racing, and power sports. They've been a pioneer in synthetic lubricants for more than 50 years, and their synthetics deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Find out how AMSOIL synthetic lubricants can save you money and time by helping your vehicle run better and last longer than with conventional oils at AMSOIL.com. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
There has never been a better time to buy a retractable tonneau cover at EGRUSA.com. EGR just kicked off a freaking huge sale. You can get up to 30% off plus a rebate of $250 on all manual roll track bed covers. Let me say that again. You can save up to 30% off the best roll top tonneau covers, the EGR roll track, plus an additional $250 rebate. Hit their online store today at EGRUSA.com.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
Well, while you were out touring boats and Lamborghinis in Italy and eating lasagna, I was on a 2,000-mile adventure in a Bronco Raptor. So we can talk about it here. Let's do a truck review.
Truck review, yeah, rolling coal and dragging truck nuts.
Man, we're rusty.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't too bad.
I mean, it wasn't too good either. I feel like we're rusty. So sorry about the long
Do
intro.
we need rust remover?
And in Lightning's long story, I'm going to tell you my long story now.
Oh, you're going to apologize for my long story.
And then I'm going to tell mine.
Okay.
So Ford dropped off at my house a brand new...
Gorgeous, by the way, made me...
it was white. How could it be gorgeous?
I thought it was sexy.
Are
you kidding me?
Well, it was sexy because it was a code orange package. So I got a Bronco Raptor. And so I've driven them quite a few times, but never had them for like a long trip. It's always been like, go somewhere, drive it on a course. It's amazing. You know, we've done some audio with it, going to Bronco off-roadeo.
There's also someone like always kind of babysitting you.
Yeah, I mean, or you have to have a helmet on and, you know, you're on a race course and all that. So anyway, this Bronco Raptor retailed for $97,420. And that included the leather trim suede seats, which are super sexy.
Okay. Are these Recaros or no?
I don't know if they're Recaros. They do feel similar to the Recaros in the Raptor R, the big F-150, but they don't say it on it. But they are sexy. And I had the code Orange Appearance Package, which mixes a blue and charcoal interior with orange accents, including orange seatbelts and stickers down the rear fenders. It's kind of weird. Like, I get kind of why they did it, but the stickers are on the window too, and I feel like over time
that's felt a little weird that the stickers were on the windows.
Yeah.
That felt
it comes that way.
I know, but it felt kind of aftermarket-y.
It did, and I think that's what they're going for. I also had the orange accent beadlock capable wheels. which I only scratched one of them. Sorry, Ford. And it had the painted fenders. So
Can I ask,
well, hold on. I just want to say that the giant Rubbermaid trash can fenders that I so vehemently hate on the Bronco Raptor are better painted.
What do you mean they're better painted?
They look
better.
They hide. They're not like...
Oh, got it. You're saying that they're painted better. They look...
No, they look better.
Yes, I agree 100%. Yes.
So fortunately, my fenders on this particular one, it was Oxford white with the onyx and blue leather trim seats with the orange accents. And you get to the outside, when it first showed up, I was like, oh, thank God the fenders are painted. And so it
looks way better when the fenders are painted. Because when they're black, they just look weird. They just stick out so far.
Yeah, so the base price was $90,035. The leather trim suede seats added $2,995. And they had this cool like perforation in it with like color coming out from under the perforation. So they were very cool looking. And the Code Orange appearance package, $2,495. So, and the destination is almost $2,000 on this thing, $1,895.
Why?
So
well, destination is stupid.
I know.
They're all coming by rail, right?
That's just a lot. So, so
there's profit in destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. $97,420. That's a lot of coin. All right, so just a little recap before I get into it. So when Ford added the Bronco to the Raptor family, it wasn't just a Bronco with big tires. It's actually basically a re-engineered Bronco. It has a unique chassis, wide track, long travel suspension. So it's 73 inches wide, which is about as wide as a full-size F-150 Raptor. So it's wide.
How does this compare to the Desert Racer, the DR?
Well, that's a race truck, so I don't know what the track width is on it. It's probably way wider than that.
Okay.
But it's more than 8 inches wider than a standard Bronco.
How does it compare to the TRX, for example?
TRX is 74 inches, so it's about half an inch narrower. So basically, the Bronco is as wide as your truck.
That's freaking wide.
Well, on midsize SUV, yeah, it's super wide.
It looks crazy from the backside too.
Oh, when you see it parked next to a Jeep, it looks like it's a foot wider than a Jeep. It's insane. Like
and it's tucked up really, like there's nothing hanging down.
Well, I had the Bronco and my Jeep in the driveway next to each other, and it's like just crazy how wide the Bronco is. So basically, Bronco Raptor gets a set of 37-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. It has 13.1 inches of ground clearance. I think it's 13 inches of wheel travel in the front and 14 in the rear. Front and rear locker, front hydraulic sway bar disconnect, full skid plates. The transfer case is a 3.06 to 1, so 3 to 1 which is great. 470 gearing, trail turn assist, the GOAT modes, which is go over any terrain. And then it's got a chassis that's said to be about 50% stiffer than a standard Bronco. So we've talked about it before. This is like an Ultra 4 car. Multi-discipline that is...
So have they gusseted the frame all over the place, or is this a new frame?
Bronco Raptor has its own underpinnings.
Okay.
It's designed to be like an Ultra 4 car, multi-discipline, where it can go rock crawl, it can go fast, it can do all that stuff with a license plate. Be honest, it's like, how is this thing even something you can buy? I mean, it has to be one of the top performance vehicles. The only thing that sucks is the seats are really amazing and the quality and the materials, and the rest of the interior just doesn't live up to the price point.
Clearly, like the dash or something?
It's all cheap. So I'm not a fan of that, but it doesn't feel like a $100,000 car at all.
How does it compare to your Jeep?
I think the Jeep's nicer on the inside.
Huh.
You know, the Bronco's kind of plasticky, and there's a lot of screens that take up the real estate. I did like the ergonomics a lot better, where the switches and stuff were. The aux switches are up above like an airplane. The four-wheel drive controls are on top of the dash pad. Visibility is not as good out as the Wrangler. The Wrangler's just really good to see.
Really?
The nose narrows and the belt line. The Bronco has a really high belt line, and it's got those funky mirrors that are attached to the front fenders, the base of the A-pillar, rather than on the doors. And it's so hard to get used to those mirrors being so far forward. It was just a weird experience. So definitely the Jeep wins there. And it's not that much quieter than a Wrangler. You would think, oh, Ford, blah, 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 it's got to be way quieter. Yeah, it's the same. And honestly, with my Jeep, with my AEV suspension and my tuned Bilsteins, I'll tell you, the Bronco Raptor on the highway rides almost the same as my solid axle. It wasn't that much better. Huh. It was like 5% better. Directional stability was good. It wasn't 5% fantastic.
Is pretty negligible.
You wouldn't know. And in fact, I was driving it, and there was a few times I reached for things, just like in the middle of the night as I'm driving across,
As if you're in
states,
your Jeep?
I was reaching for things like it was in my Jeep because it was almost identical, like the sound level, the driving position. Like there's just so much that's so similar to the Jeep when you drive it, and you're like, take away the way it looks, like just drive it in the back.
What about the handling? Because your Jeep in particular is like it feels like a go-kart in that it's very nimble left to right, like it's quick to react.
Well, the Jeep, my Jeep needs a little bit more sway bar to it. The Bronco Raptor is nice because you can take the Fox live valve shocks. So this has 3.1 inch internal bypass Fox live valve shocks on it, and there's 3 settings on the steering wheel. There's also a setting for steering. So those, you can change the exhaust note, the steering, and the stiffness of the suspension. I didn't really feel that much of a difference driving it. It was a little bit better, but it was also not like understeering horribly on mountain roads because I went to Colorado. So I started in California, met up with the group in Moab. We went to the San Juan Mountains in Colorado, and then came back. And
I got to know how the exhaust note changed.
It's significantly different. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's quiet and loud, or did it actually change the tone?
I think there's 4 levels.
What?
I think it's quiet, normal, loud, and Baja race.
Really?
It's got the 3-liter in it, and it's one of the better sounding Ford EcoBoost V6 exhaust, but it's still a Ford EcoBoost exhaust.
Gotcha.
And it's so,
it's not a big V8 is what you're saying.
It's not a big V8. And so that was kind of like, like I felt it should have been faster. So basically on the road, it felt like it was easy to pilot, like it was comfortable. You didn't have to stay on top of the car. And I thought the Fox Live Valve 3.1s did a great job controlling the body motions and all that kind of stuff. The extra track width definitely takes a little getting used to because it's so wide, and you basically can't see the wheels.
But you've driven plenty of wide trucks.
Yeah, but it's like driving a dually for the first time.
Oh, because you're
so inboard.
Got it. Yeah.
And so that takes a little bit of getting used to. I think average driver would they would be like in the drive-through up on curbs and cutting stuff short and stuff like that. Anyway, so again, we talked about the switch gear, which I thought like lots of hard buttons and secondary controls that don't have to go through a screen. That's a huge win. And then the twin turbo 3-liter. It's, I believe, a punched out 2.7, so it's not related to the 3.5 because those are two different engine families. So it's the 3-liter.
Would you have preferred it to be on the 3.5?
It would have more power.
Right.
I would prefer it to be a Coyote.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I wish it had in it, because I think that thing with a Coyote.
Because that's what the DR has of the Coyote, doesn't it?
Yeah, but again, that's a race vehicle, so it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
I would be, that would be my next vehicle if it had the V8 in it. Like, it's just.
Really?
Yeah, but
over a Jeep.
Yeah, I mean, the Jeep's not making the V8s anymore either. Yeah. So, 418 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque. That's a significant upgrade over the standard Bronco's optional 2.7-liter V6. So that makes 330 horsepower and 415. So you would think, like, there's going to be a ton more because you go from 330 to 418 horsepower, and it's just going to rip. And it does. It has good passing power. But the Raptor weighs 5,800 pounds published. I actually think mine was a little heavier than that. So by minimum, it's 550 to 600 pounds more than a standard Bronco. So it kind of negates some of that performance advantage. Brakes are really good. 13.8 inch front rotors, 13.2s in the rear. And then off-road is really the key. So what I wanted to prove, I joined a Ford group of overlanders. These folks paid to have a guided tour with Ford. And so they were in all different Broncos. There's one Bronco Raptor. So you were just
kind of tagging along?
Yeah. So Ford said, hey, we're doing this thing. After Bronco Off-Rodeo, we had customers who were like, want more. So we're doing these guided trips. And we've got room on this one. We'll send you the Bronco if you want to join us. So I got to hang out with some Bronco owners, which was super cool. Got to see how they're modifying their vehicles. But we were doing a lot of slow stuff. So what I really wanted to, you look at Bronco, you're like, one trick pony. It's go fast desert. How would it do in like more of an overlanding scenario where you're low speed, you're modulating the throttle, you're using low range and all that kind of stuff? And honestly, it was pretty darn good. The suspension has a ton of compliance to it. So it's not harsh on the trail at all. It's comfortable.
Going slow, what mode are you in?
It depends, but because it's a 10-speed automatic in the 3-to-1 transfer case.
No, I'm talking about the suspension. Because you can dial the suspension, right?
Well, you just push a button.
I'm saying when
comfort.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bombing, so I don't need to be super stiff.
That's what I meant, yeah.
But what I'm doing is I'm in low range, and the nice thing is because of the 10-speed automatic, there's such a gear spread that I didn't have to keep going in and out of low range and high range. I could get to 5th gear, low range, and still be in low range, and it would be fine. So able to use the paddle shifters to choose that, which is super good.
Was there an override on the paddle shifters? You brought it up. Like a lot of times you'll paddle shift, you're in third gear, and if you wind it out too far, it'll automatically shift to fourth.
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. I think in manual mode on that, it just lets you rev it out. I don't think
because some of them will straight up like over rev, like they'll go into the red.
Well, some of them force a shift too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Some do force shifts.
Yeah, I wasn't driving it like that, so
God, I can't remember if my truck will force a shift or not.
I can't remember.
I'm gonna have to go try it after we're done.
So front and rear lockers were awesome, but here's the other thing. I don't like the modes. I like to drive, but I will say the GOAT modes work really well, especially slow speed crawling, lockers locked. Trail turn assist on the switchbacks we went on was awesome.
And trail turn assist, where it locks up a brake?
The rear inside tire, so you pivot around switchbacks. Instead of doing a 3-point turn, you can pivot that rear tire. That's awesome. The way it works is you activate it, and when you're at full lock, that's when it does it. And then when you're off full lock, it does
it. And does it completely lock the brake, or does it just go?
No, it locks it.
So it does not turn at all.
No, you pivot off of that.
Okay.
So I thought Ford's GOAT modes and their traction control was actually really, really good. This thing crawled great. Like I was really impressed for having the go fast suspension and all that. Like it was really good. And
were you getting all wacky sideways, like really? Like crazy articulation? No?
There's an overlanding trip, so it wasn't like crazy rock crawling or anything like that. But we were going up over ledges and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to know that you can do like I can't remember if My Ford or whatever. They allow you to choose like all your settings and then save it. So you can go like, this is my configuration, which is super cool. Definitely needed a Banks pedal monster down low. It's a little bit wooden, but on the trail it was really nice to modulate it. And the turbos don't hit as hard as like the big Raptor, so I didn't feel like I was gonna hurt myself. And plenty of passing power going out there.
Does it have different modes like economy, sport, whatever?
Not economy.
I'm just right. I get it, but like, does it have different?
All the normal modes: mud, sand, slippery, snow. Baja,
but those modes,
towing.
like those modes, affect the throttle input. Is what I'm saying.
They affect everything.
Got it.
Yeah.
So even with that, you still would have liked to have the pedal monster.
Just in normal driving, I would have liked there to be a little bit more responsiveness, but it wasn't a deal breaker. It wasn't like some of the vehicles, like a Toyota, Tacoma or something like that, where you're just like, geez, how much more pedal do I have to give this thing? Price of entry, we talked about $97,000. I thought the interior was super cool. Love the code orange accents, all of that stuff, but definitely the cabin didn't otherwise feel special. Like the dash is still plastic; it's not wrapped.
How was the audio system? Did you get to jam? No,
the 10 speaker. No, it wasn't bad. 10-inch woofer in the back.
Was it a Bose or what's in that? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Okay,
Bang & Olufsen maybe.
A B&O, really?
I can't remember.
Okay,
2,000 miles. I averaged 15.7 miles per gallon on that whole trip.
How many?
Pretty good. 15.7.
50. Oh,
so I figure a mile and a half better than the 392. Thereabouts. It's also interesting because the EPA rating is 15 city, 16 highway, and I got 15.7 mixed. I was right in the middle of that, so nailed that. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was great. There's a couple weird things I don't love about it. I didn't love the plasticky interior. I didn't love the mirrors that are so far forward. Wind noise was comparable to a Jeep. No big wind there for them. But I felt like the cargo tie downs were really weak. And
where are they located?
In the rear where the cargo would go.
Oh, okay. What else? Like on top? Are there cargo rails on the top of the Jeep?
No, this doesn't have it.
Oh, okay.
This particular one was just a hard top. But the cargo tie downs in the cargo area were kind of a little bit inboard for me and not super accessible. I would have liked to have more. I'm so used to having like that American Adventure Lab plate where I can adjust all this stuff.
You're spoiled with aftermarket goodies.
No, but the Jeep has an adjustable trail rail that you can get in the back. Oh. So I would have liked to see something like that. I will say that the trail sights on the leading fenders were awesome for knowing where the front is.
Because a lot of people think those are for looks, just like it's an aesthetics.
You can use them for a tie down, but they were originally designed because a Jeep, the nose narrows as it gets to the front, which gives you more visibility over the edge. The Bronco raises on the sides and it's straight, so it's hard to judge where the front of it is. That being said, those things worked out great, and the cameras were awesome. 360 camera and trail cameras and all that stuff worked great. I will say that I couldn't believe the 12 volt in the cargo area wasn't hot all the time. So it would stay hot for like an hour after you shut it down. So when you have your fridge plugged into the back, it just turns off.
Oh, that sucks.
Where Jeep has it where you can take
They're doing that so you don't drain the battery, I assume.
Well, yeah, but why are they deciding on that for me?
I don't know.
My fridge has low voltage cutoff, and in a Jeep, you can switch a fuse between one position or the other to have it keyed or battery. So you decide as a customer. I wish Ford would have done that. And then I had a few times where the driver assist would freak out in broken pavement. Like it would get rough and it would be like, "Rah!" and like get mad at me. And the other thing I'll say, build quality of the body was good. No squeaks, no rattles, even after driving over all sorts of broken terrain. Got it up to 13,000 feet at this one summit that we went to. It was actually over 13,000 feet. And the turbos.
That's a big jump you went off. Dang.
Yeah, I landed it too. And it was a sweet jump. And it was nice because even at that altitude, plenty of power, no issues. The turbos are nice when you get up there, and it wasn't huffing or anything like that. So overall, I give the Bronco Raptor a home and thumbs up. And a couple little things that Ford could tweak here and there that would make it even better. But I've got nothing about the chassis. The chassis setup was awesome. Handles the road well. It's comfortable. You can huck it off bumps. I hit the desert on the way home and did a few jumps with it, and had it on trails overlanding. And I think I proved you could take this thing that is kind of more akin to going fast and rock crawling, and you can go do overlanding, and it's still comfortable and all that. So if you guys want a Bronco Raptor, just remember, as long as it fits, it'll go.
As long as it fits, it'll go. As long as it fits on the trail.
On the trail, yeah, because there were stuff with shelf roads. I'm looking over and I'm going, I'm way wider than that dude in front of me. And it was a little sketch. Although, okay. All right. And then one last thing, which was kind of hilarious, is we go up to Imogene and we're at, 12,800 feet or whatever. Here comes a line of Jeeps from the other side of the mountain through the pass, meeting our line of Broncos.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, this is a turf war.
It was like Anchorman in the park, except nobody would make eye contact with me. And I was like, what the hell? So, like, they were all driving. They wouldn't wave. They didn't look. All a bunch of bougie Jeep people. Like, my people were disowning me until the last guy in the group rolls by, double takes when he sees me.
No, wait. So, before you tell me what he does, are you passing each other where it's like driver's door to driver's door going the other way?
Yes.
Oh, so you're like...
It's a narrow trail. We're at the pass.
Okay.
We're parked off to the side.
You're looking
they're
into their
back
eyes.
as they're coming up in front of me, and they're not looking back. And the last guy looks at me and he goes, kind of double takes. He goes, shouldn't you be in a 392?
No way.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah, so that was funny. Some dude on the trail was like, I'm like, oh, I'm borrowing this. And he's like, well, at least it's a Raptor. So here's the thing that's funny. Most people around there, because it's like all Toyotas and Jeeps, right? Like there's a few lone, Bronco guys floating around, and they just don't get any love. I will say, like at the gas station around town, the only reason I got love is because I was in a Bronco Raptor, and people are like, all right, well, I'm not a fan of Broncos, but that Raptor's pretty sweet.
Because it looks rad, or because it's more power?
Well, I think they know that it's a more complete machine, right?
It.
Like it's higher end.
It's not a poser.
No, it's definitely not a poser. So anyway, just be careful if you go to Colorado in a Bronco. Bring friends.
Okay, so before the show started, you said you went down a rabbit hole, and I thought, wait, is this going to be one of your political rabbit holes?
No.
This is going to be like, so what?
It's nothing to do with the hat that I'm wearing, tinfoil or red.
I know,
yeah,
he's got a red hat on, and it's not Fred Durst's hat from Limp Bizkit.
How dare you?
Yeah. Tell me what's going on, because it has something to do with the truck, I heard.
Well, so I'm in a dilemma. So I know that I'm going to need a pickup truck again at some point. And I need something that can haul projects around, like the flat fender, which I need to bring home. And I need to, we might have a Volkswagen project with my daughter at some point, and got some family property that got access to. I'm like, I need a ranch truck. I need something.
Aren't you still paying off the Jeep, though?
Well, this is like a couple of years from now when the Jeep's paid off. Okay. So Jeep's paid off. It's doing its own thing.
Future plans.
This is a vehicle down the line, but I want to start getting used to like what's out there, what the pricing is, so I can kind of keep my eyes open. And honestly, I just for fun, I went to Ford's website and looked at the new Super Duties just to kind of see. And the basic Super Duty is like almost 50 grand, 48.
You're talking about like a 7.3 or a 6.7?
No,
so gas
base,
or diesel?
No, base, 6.8.
Oh, base with gas.
Yeah, 6.8 Godzilla, smaller one. I don't want one of those anyway because I don't need another new car. Don't care. Also, don't want over-the-air updates. I need something that can sit at the ranch and still get a start. So here's what I have to have. In my mind, has to be four-wheel drive, has to have the ability to have a decent stereo in it, has to have cruise control.
Single cab, dual cab?
Has to be a regular cab, long
regular
bed.
cab?
I want a regular cab, long bed, 4x4.
So
I
don't need to recline.
And I don't care. I want solid axles and a front bench seat.
Okay.
Fit 3 across, old school. I love that pickup truck experience. I want something with 8 feet of bed for hauling things around. And
Long beds are awesome.
Listen.
That's one of the reasons I love driving that old Ram Dually.
if the wife calls me and says, "Hey, we got to go to IKEA. Can you go get the truck?" I want to be able to have the right vehicle for it. Because right now, I don't want to strap something to our new car and dent the roof, or the Wrangler's not really made for that. And so we have her everyday family car, and we got the fun car in the Wrangler, and the Aria is the commuter. I can probably, when that lease is up, maybe, I'll be in a spot where I don't care as much about the fuel economy. I don't need the around town car. What I really need is the around the ranch car.
Okay.
Or around the house and the projects.
Well, I was going to
car.
say, if you store it at the ranch, then you can't go to IKEA with it because it'll be at the ranch.
We could drive there and pick it up and come home. It'd be put in the barn and then it's fine. But here's the thing. It has to have solid axles. So that's a Ram or a Ford. And I really got it narrowed down to, I like that 08 to 2010 Super Duty.
Yeah.
But I think I'd want to get the 6.8, and they're really hard to find.
Okay.
I want clearance lights, and there's a lot of XLs, but there's a few XLTs. The thing about the XLT,
You can add the clearance lights later.
yeah, but the
Sell those.
XLT looks a little bit better with bright work. Has the bigger wheels on it.
The grill's
aluminum.
different too, isn't
A
it?
little bit. It's got it's chrome. But
Is that the year? I'm trying to think. That's the year with the two big fat bars across the grill.
No. That's 11 to 16.
Oh, that's 11 to 16, yeah.
This is the one where they flip the headlights to being low for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like the way. That's one of my favorite looking Super Duties. I love that. But I don't know if a 5.4 would be enough. And I don't want a diesel because I think it would sit 3 months at a time.
And it's funny because I don't know anyone who even I don't get requests for 5.4 parts ever.
Yeah.
You get the 6.8, the V10,
The V10,
right?
which I think would be
You
cool.
get a lot of requests for those parts still.
Yeah.
And then at least I do.
Yeah.
I hear chatter about those in the groups and to us at Banks. And then I hear 6.7. I mean, the 11 to 16 is I would
Well, this
caution-
is okay. So this is 08 to 10. So that's the 6.4. So it would require a lot of bulletproofing if it wasn't
Right.
bulletproof already.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So my
Well, I've ruled that out.
Okay.
I ruled out the 6.4.
Okay,
I'm
so I
saying
have to- so-
you would want to go the earlier
V10.
the V10, correct, or then you skip up to the 11 to 16 with a 6.7 liter diesel.
So, but the 11 to 16 also has the 6.2 V8 gas, which would be good. And I'm thinking I like gas. I like not having the diesel maintenance, although the diesel at that point is pre-def, so that's really good. So I'm kind of like, I don't want there to be a lot of maintenance. I want it to be super easy. I want it to be able to, do the job, get it done. I want to have a rear locker in it. That's it. Skid plates, tow hooks, a hitch, 10,000 pound tow package.
So what's your
or
ideal
payload
price?
package. Well, I mean, they go anywhere from 10 to 25 grand, probably, depending on the mileage. So I think I would pay up for a lower mileage example, because this would be a truck that I wouldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem. Everything new now you're starting to get into over-the-air updates and having to be connected. I don't want that for the ranch truck. I want the ranch truck to be like a lot more simple. And I love the OBSs, but those are really expensive, especially with low miles, and the computers and stuff are starting to be problematic. They don't have as much power.
I think you'd be looking at. I mean, I would suggest. I would say, stay away. Probably if because I'm going to put you to go to the diesel a little bit,
which I don't hate.
Right.
It's just, do I want?
But I don't think you want to
complexity?
go with from what I recall. Did you see that video that Gail Banks did? I don't know. It was like 3, 4, 5 months ago. He was given an engine by Ford back in 2010, the first 6.7 liter before they launched it, because they came out new in 2011. They'd given this engine because they wanted to sell him a bunch of engines, and he never did anything with it. Sat on the engine stand. I don't even think it had lubricants in it at all ever. Brand new engine. And just recently he decided to tear it all apart, and we went through it, and it had so many innovations on the engine way back in the day. It was incredible. Like all of the oil lines, there's no external oil lines. They're all in the casting, which is really in the casting of the oil pan. It's really bizarre and cool. And then the turbo, for example, the turbo had a dual compressor wheel. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, I remember when that turbo came out.
Now, I have heard they ended up swapping most of them out under warranty because I guess they just imploded. They didn't work well. But in theory, the way they worked is they could spool up a lot faster and then have better top end. But I guess they were just bad news. The mechanics hated them. So I would say you avoid if you're looking for the 6.7, you avoid 2011 and 12. You start with a 13 to 16.
If I go diesel.
If you go diesel. But I would say like the 6.8, we sell still a snot load of
like headers and stuff?
The headers, yeah. I mean, they had pea shooters, so when you open them up, you get 40 horsepower just by putting headers on.
Those are CARB approved too, right?
Yes, they are.
And people use them for their motorhomes because a lot of the pushers had the 6.8 long past the trucks had them.
Correct.
So, like, I like the idea of that, and then you get into the second generation of the 6.8, so like the 08s to 10, and you don't have spark plugs shooting through the hood. So, what I'm curious about, yes, I could go with the Ram, and I know a 5.9 is great, but I also know like a 6.4 Hemi would be good, but the trannies aren't super great in those years. I like the way the Ford looks, and I definitely don't want the IFS of a Chevy. So it really narrows me down to the Super Duty, and they really keep their value well. Yeah. So I'm like struggling. And again, this is a truck that I would keep.
You know what they don't keep
forever?
Well? The steering wheels.
Well, I know the steering
wheels.
Some of those are. If you don't have a lariat, you can't get a lariat on a regular cab, so you don't have the leather wrapped, and they're like disgusting at like 30,000 miles.
They get all sticky and gooey and gummy.
Worst case, get it wrapped or get a new steering wheel or something. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, that's the truck, and I would never get rid of it. Like I would buy it once, so I would pay up for low miles. It's just a matter of 6.8 V10 if I could find it. Do I go 6.7 diesel, 6.2 V8, which I really like? You guys own those trucks?
No one really talks about the 6.2 V8 though.
I know.
You kind of go from that, like you said, the two areas of like where they shined was the 6.8 and the 6.7 V10 and the 6.7 diesel. Yep. No one really talks about the 5.4.
Well, that's because the 5.4 is like low on power, so I'm like that would be hard. I think at a Super Duty if you're towing and hauling,
especially going to Moab up the grades.
Yeah, I think a 6.8 would be great, but they're hard to find, and I want the clearance lights on top, which is also hard to find in a regular cab. The 6.7, I don't know do I want to deal with the headaches of diesel? I
don't think there really are that many headaches. I mean, whoever sells you that truck has already taken care of those headaches.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's like I know you don't want a 6.0, but like most of the people who have 6.0s.
I don't mind the 6.0, but it would have to be bulletproofed already.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of money you got to
No, but that's what I'm saying. Right. In 2024, if you own a 6.0, it's been bulletproofed. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple unicorns out there that have lasted that aren't bulletproofed, but I wouldn't even go that direction. I think you're right, the 6.8 or the 6.7.
What does our listener think? So, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. What do you guys own, an 08 to 10 gasser Super Duty or an 11 to 16 gas?
I would
13 to 16
13,
diesel.
Yeah, 13 up.
So, what do you guys think? What do you know? Like, I'm struggling because I want to know. In my mind, I know the truck I want. I just don't know the configuration of the drivetrain. Like I know I want a 4-wheel drive. I know I want regular cab. It doesn't have to be fancy. Here's what I want: cruise control for long trips, a decent radio, air conditioning.
Do you care about power windows?
Don't care about power mirrors. Don't care about power windows. I do want clearance lights on the cab.
What about manual or electric seats?
Manual. Yeah, don't care. Okay. Yeah, it's a bench seat. I just want the XLTs are nice because you get some creature comfort.
Did they have sliding rear windows or no? I
Both.
Can't remember. They didn't. Okay. Do you care?
I'd rather have just a solid rear window.
Okay.
Because just less for somebody to break into. The XLTs, again, you get a nicer bench seat instead of that vinyl piece of junk. So I think I would go XLT, and have the nicer interior. Not necessarily because I'm bougie, because I don't even care if there's carpet on the floor, but right. I do want a seat that lasts.
Well, you could even get cloth, and then we call cat skin.
Yeah, we can just do. Well, they have that new non-leather that's like super well wearing. That's kind of nice. At some point in my life, I have to have that truck to do the work that I need a truck like that to do. And again, I'm willing to pay up for it.
And again, you wanted to go long bed?
You got to go long bed. Regular cab, long bed. I don't want the additional headaches of rear doors or rear seat. None of that. I just want
headaches of rear doors.
I just want
no one has headaches about rear doors.
I just want a regular cab, long bed, 4-wheel drive, like a classic American truck. That when the barn door rolls up and I go, I can go grab that. I can bring it down. I can tow things, places, projects.
No, I get it.
The Wrangler tows 3,500 pounds.
Right.
Like it's not that.
Right.
So I just that's.
Or do you guys have a truck you want to sell Holman?
Well, he doesn't have any money right now, so this is probably like
no.
A year or two out.
No, he's got a.
I'll trade you Lightning.
He wants a layaway program.
There we go. Yeah, maybe that'll work. I'll add it.
Does anyone do layaway anymore? Remember when Sears, when your kids you get a layaway and
start buying Christmas presents?
Yeah. So I got to have that big Lego kit.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. Again,
Yeah.
truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. I gotta know.
Dude,
What?
I totally off the top. I just said Legos. Dude, one of my buddies got a job at Lego.
Oh, dude, how stoked are you?
I'm a pig
have
in
you,
slop.
Have you hit him up already?
Yes, already done. Already done. I don't want to say it out loud because I bought a very expensive kit that I got at a discount. Dude, it is when you off air, I'll show it to you, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
By the way, I've been looking at like Auto Trader and eBay and like Carfax and Bring a Trailer.
Yes.
There's a couple of them that already have like flatbed conversions, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind having a flatbed.
What about utility?
Utility bed could be cool.
Yeah.
If it was in good shape. Most of them are all beat up.
Yeah. Okay, what do you guys say? Holman at truckshowpodcast.com or the general inbox at truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. You think it's the 6.8 or the 6.7?
Or what am I missing? What is the best truck that you think fits that need? That's the one I should have.
Interesting. Is there something? I think that's too broad. Let's keep it about Ford.
No. Whatever. You
already ruled out the Rams.
657-205-6105. Leave me a voicemail. Let me know. We'll
that
talk
would
about
be
it
good.
next
Yeah,
episode.
657-205-6105 is the 5-star hotline.
5-star.
Hotline. 657-205-6105. We're not going to play anything here, but we will play it on the next episode if you have some suggestions about which truck Holman should buy.
All right, I think it's time to engage our listeners and catch up with some emails.
You email? Yeah. I email? Do it. We email? That's right. Everybody email. Type it up. You email? Proofread. I email? Send it. We email? Click it. Everybody email.
That Omar created an earworm with this intro. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go for it.
Lightning at truckshowpodcast.com, Holman at truckshowpodcast.com, or truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. First up is Jake Palmgren. Subject line is 2011 to 2016 D-Max fuel pump failure audio. Interesting.
Okay.
Hey, Ballard Boy and Light Pod. No, hold on a second. Ballard Boy and Light Pod
that's
is
both
the
you.
same. That's
yeah,
me.
he slammed you twice and me 0 times.
That's interesting. Here's the audio from my LML's fuel pump failure. Forgot to send the follow-up email. I would love to have a way to communicate with the other Truck Show podcast listeners. Great idea. I guess he's talking about us doing
Our Facebook group.
Oh, wait. We did an Instagram live.
Which was awful.
It was awful.
I hope nobody saw that.
There was about 30 people that
Well,
saw
it was funny because some dude from like Africa or
Yeah,
Europe
that
who
went
did-
sideways.
You somehow selected him to talk to us, and he was speaking a foreign language. And
That was really
He
weird.
was like sitting on like a blanket with his legs crossed at a table and yelling at you.
It was super weird. So we're going to schedule like a drinking party. I'm going to steal this from Ralph Showbiz Beat, one of my buddies. He does this once a month on a Friday night, and they all get drunk online together, and it's a big hoot, as they say.
We keep promising something like that. We're actually going to do it.
We're going to do this very, very soon. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to do this. We're going to tell you when it's happening, and you'll just join in. We'll have a big like web conference. It's free to, and it'll look like I don't know, the Brady Bunch, where there's a bunch of squares, right? And we're all looking at each other, all drinking.
I'm not going to be a square.
Right, that'll be fun. Anyway, so Jake goes on to say, General Motors, I know someone from your department is hearing this.
That ain't true! That's not true! So get your facts straight.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play his audio. And here's his audio. That doesn't sound good at all.
God, that sounds horrible. Oh. Do you think he slammed the door in disgust? Was that what that was?
Yeah, I think it is.
All right, got this one from our buddy Ray. Says, AMSOIL follow-up. Lightning and Holman, thank you for the back-to-back AMSOIL episodes. Great info and much appreciated. Except now I feel like I got to go buy AMSOIL right now for all my vehicles. With all you two know...
I mean, that was the goal a little bit.
Yeah, please do that and then tell them Truck Show Podcast sent you.
We wouldn't hate it if you did that.
No,
Ray.
that would be huge for us. With all you two know and all the industry contacts you have, could you weigh in someday on oil change intervals, odometer versus calendar versus onboard oil change monitor notification? If I only put 5,000 miles per year on my EcoDiesel and they're only highway miles and the onboard engine life oil monitor says my oil has 83% life remaining, for the love of petrol, why should I have to change my oil every year? Yet the owner's manual states 10,000 miles or 12 months. What? Ram doesn't trust their own oil change algorithms and sensor data in their onboard oil life monitor? As a side note, TFL Truck episode featured one of Ram's highest level engine development engineers, Alan Falkowski. And he says, talking with Andre about oil used in the new standard output Hurricane Straight 6, wherein the Ram engineer says, quote, unquote, go by the onboard oil life, my paraphrasing. Changing oil in a diesel is already expensive enough, but wasting $200 each oil change and wasting perfectly good oil is just plain stupid on all counts. So why not go by the onboard oil life monitor and ignore the stupid wording of the owner's manual? Any insights you two have will be appreciated. Thank you, Ray. Here's my feeling. Yeah. My feeling is once a year, no matter what.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that unless it's like a Toyota Corolla, and then you get like 4 years.
Maybe 7. Yeah, never change it.
But yeah, if you're talking diesel,
if you like
suck it up, dude.
Yeah, I just think because if you remember from our interview,
there's so much particulate and there's so much carbon, there's so much abrasive material
not only that, but
in the oil.
Your intake's open, so whatever humidity's in the air, all that stuff is going in. Now all the oil eventually after sitting for so long is sitting down in the pan and it's off the metal parts. So I just, whether your oil's great or not, I just think you just once a year, no matter what, just do it once a year.
And what does he drive again?
He's got a Ram EcoDiesel.
Oh, that's the EcoDiesel.
He should do it 4 times a year.
Yeah,
maybe 6.
So I'm going to be shooting a video. This is Duramax related. So I'm gonna spoil this because whatever. You guys will see it and you'll still watch it and you'll enjoy it and you'll still freak out. So I'm gonna check this out. In the Duramax, specifically the 17 to current Duramaxes, the oil pan, right? You got the oil drain plug. It's in the back and there's a 5-degree rake back, right? So you pull the plug and what you think all the oil is coming out, so you do a full drain. But what you don't realize is that threaded bung that holds that bolt, Holman, it's a weld nut, and it goes into the pan 3/4 of an inch. So what that means is 3/4 of an inch of dirty oil along the bottom of the pan is still there. And that's what contains the metal filings and all that. Furthermore, the pickup tube that goes into the oil, it's still resting in the oil, right? The pickup tube, if you've never seen what's happening in that bottom of the pan, pickup tube sits about half an inch off the bottom of the pan. It's really close to the bottom of the pan. It's got a screen. It's like 3 inches in diameter, and then it necks down to like 1 inch, and it goes up toward the oil pump. It sucks the oil straight up, and then circulates it to the engine. Because there's always a pool of oil in the bottom, even when you try to drain it, you can't drain it all out. So there's let's call it about a 1/4 of a quart of oil, a pool at the bottom that you're never getting out. And then there's another few ounces that are in the pickup tube. So you've got this oil that's now captive, and it's the dirtiest oil in your engine, and you can't get it out. You could keep doing oil changes, but it's still always going to be there. And here's the crazy part. Let's say it takes 10 quarts to fill it after an oil change. But guess how many quarts they put in at the factory? 11. There's always a freaking quart of oil in your engine that you can't get out. It's like 11 or 12 with the oil cooler.
So, Lighting, what do you do about this?
When you go to a higher capacity pan, like the new Banks oil, and
which has the drain plug in the right spot?
It has the drain plug without the boss. It's threaded into the casting because it's die-cast aluminum.
Yep.
All of it comes out. Literally every drop comes out. And of course, there's a magnet drain plug. It collects any filings, and you can scrape them off with your finger. I'm not trying to sell this pan here. What I think is fascinating is that unless you were told this or shown this, you'd think you're getting all your oil out. But there's close to a full quart of dirty oil in all of the Duramax engines. And this is true for all of them with a weld bung on them. And we're going to do some more exploration to find out if Ford and Ram are equally as guilty of this residual oil in your engine. But that stinks. Sorry. Back to you for the next email.
Anyway, hey, Lightning. I got this one from Jesse Talley. Says, old or new?
You almost said, have you heard?
I did. Hi, guys. I'd love to know your opinions and suggestions on this. I go back and forth sometimes whether I should keep my current truck or upgrade to something newer. It sounds like the conversation we just had. Right. I currently have a 04.5 Dodge Ram 2500 Cummins with the NV 5600. Yeah, 6-speed manual, baby. It's pretty low mileage. I've done a few minor upgrades like 37s, third and front springs and shocks, fuel filtration, etc. I love the simplicity of this truck, but sometimes that can also be a downside. My wife and kids hate riding in it because it's loud, rough idling, hot in summer times. It can also get a little cramped with all 6 of us in it. If I upgraded, I would go to a new Ram 2500 diesel, most likely. I use the truck for a mix of running around town, towing, off-roading, long trips, etc. Would you keep the old truck and try to do some upgrades to make it more comfortable, or just upgrade to something newer? I'm concerned that if I try to modernize my old truck, backup camera, window tint, sound deadening, upgrade stereo, more suspension mods, upgrade lighting, etc., I will waste a lot of time and money. You'll never be anywhere near the comfort and convenience of a newer truck. Conversely, if I buy a newer truck, I'm concerned about all the emissions issues, warranty issues, etc., that seem to plague new vehicles, especially diesels. I'm interested to hear your opinion since you both have experience with old and new vehicles, especially diesels. What do you do? Thanks, Jesse in Grand Junction, Colorado.
What year is that again?
04.5.
So 04.5 is not old enough in my
To keep.
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
to keep.
I
If you're talking 90s, that's cool and worth it.
would get the new truck
I'd get the new truck too.
and get a warranty.
That's correct.
I think like if it was your project and you're like, hey, I'm going to retire this for me, but the fact that your wife and kids and comfort and all that kind of stuff,
You know what? This guy right here, he's a classic victim of social media.
Maybe.
Because if you hang out on any of the groups, God forbid you're on Everything 6-7 Cummins, which is like 160,000 members on Facebook. You'd think that every single Ram truck on the road made after 2019, all 5th gen Rams, you'd think that every single Ram has DPF failures and they all have CP4 failures. It's just not true. It just happens to be where everyone goes to complain. It's like Yelp. How many people go on Yelp and say, I had the greatest hamburger
Me.
ever? You do, but you're rare, right? Because you enjoy writing. Most people only go on to a group to bitch and moan or to ask a question that leads to other people bitching and moaning.
Yeah. All right. So go buy a new truck. Make your wife happy.
Yep, that's I agree there. Deep dive on Tacoma Trailhunter ARB shocks from Andrew Grote. Hey guys, the deep dive on the ARB shocks on the Trailhunter needs to happen. Please don't just tease it like the tow-isode. Speaking of which, TFL Talking Trucks did a towing episode just recently, episode 237, probably because Andre heard us teasing it forever and knew that we would never get
probably.
to it. He's not a dummy. They talked with one of the engineers who developed the SAEJ 2807 tow test standard. You should get him on the podcast. No, already been done on TFL. We're not going to repeat it. I know you guys will ask him some good questions. Now, Andrew, that is a good idea, but we're not going to do it because I'm not going to copy Andre's show. However,
He steals from us. We steal from him. It's one big happy family.
I love Andre. Like, legit. He's a rad dude. But I think we've got, someday we'll do a tow-isode and we will get some other experts in, weight hitches and weight distribution hitches and sway control and all that stuff. So that's my take.
All right, got this letter here is from Ryan Evans, who is talking about the tire pressure recommendations. He says, just from my experience with product planning at Jeep, the difference between the Falcon and the Goodyear on a similar Ram truck is due to the tire manufacturer's recommendation for that tire. Evidence of this would be when we put the KM2 on and had an insanely high tire pressure recommendation on the door placard. Ever since the Explorer rollover situation in the 90s, OEM vehicle manufacturers have leaned more towards the tire manufacturer's recommendations. So, once again, a legal battle is making the recommendation, not the actual vehicle dynamics. That said, my experience is that they tune the chassis the best they can for the tire pressure that is recommended by the manufacturer. It would probably blow people's minds how many spring combinations there are for any given vehicle for weight and vehicle handling dynamic characteristics. That's our buddy Ryan.
Okay. All right, next email is from Nick, and he says, Lightning and that other guy.
I resemble that, but you also didn't say what his title or what the title of the email was.
Disservice is the subject line, yes.
Okay.
So this may sting. Next line is in quotes. Is there something that we're doing our audience a disservice by not talking about? And he answers his own question by saying, yes. My suspension, Holman. First you ghost me. Then you get my hopes up that you'll talk with Jerry at Camberg. Lightning, insert, you're a lying sack of crap.
You're a lying sack of shit.
Okay, that seems aggressive.
But seriously, did you ever talk to Jerry? If I can find a bent beam, is it worth it if I still use a coil and shock? Or do I buy once and cry once with a quality coilover and hoops? And that's Nick from Dirty Jersey.
All right, Nick. I didn't ghost you. I probably just forgot. I remember your email, and I actually did talk to Jerry.
We talked about that for quite a while. So wait, you talked to Jerry at Camberg and then just didn't follow up?
No. He emailed me separately, directly at the Holman at Truck Show podcast, and I got busy.
Okay.
And so I did have breakfast with Jerry around the time he sent that.
And you just discussed Porsches, or what did you do?
I asked him about his question of who makes bent beams now. And I think he said he doesn't do it anymore, but I think AutoFab still does it down in San Diego or whatever. John AutoFab.
I recall having this question.
Maybe we did do this on the air. I don't know. I remember talking to Jerry. I asked him.
You brought up this company in San Diego before.
AutoFab.com.
Yeah.
Nick, AutoFab.com.
AutoFab.com.
Yes, just go there.
Okay.
They've been doing bent beams and all that stuff for a gazillion years. I'm sure they still do it.
Okay.
So.
All right. So Nick, there's your answer. Get off his jock.
Wow. Well,
Nick knows I love him.
Seeming aggressive?
No. We're buddies.
Dennis Durrell writes, Waze speedometer. Gentlemen, in regards to the question about the tire size increase not affecting the speedometer on Ram Jeep, the issue is that Waze will supplant the GPS-derived speed with the speed from the vehicle speed sensor in certain situations. I'm not sure if this is a feature or a bug, but this is what it does. If you unplug your phone from the USB port, it will revert back to GPS speed. Oh, so it must be reading the CAN bus. That would make sense. Plug it back in and it will hold GPS speed until you start interacting with the app, and then it'll switch back to using the VSS speed. I use Waze for everything as it does a great job of optimizing routes around congestion, as well as indicating a good percentage of speed traps and all the red light cameras, and not having the GPS speed displayed is a bit annoying. I guess this also opens the door to discussion using a speedometer correction when going to oversized tires. I appreciate your position that having a correct display in the vehicle is desirable. However, the counterpoint to that is that it can potentially aggravate the gear ratio effect of running larger rubber. Consider a stock vehicle that at 30% throttle is set to make a 3 to 4 shift at 35. With 35s, it still will make that shift at 30% throttle and a displayed speed of 35 miles per hour, even though the truck is now going 38. But if you alter the speed signal, that 3 to 4 shift will now happen at a real world 3 miles per hour slower.
He's right about that.
No, I get it. So you're encouraging the truck to short shift, the exact opposite thing that you want to do with a larger tire. Now there's more that goes into the shift logic than just speed. By altering the speed signal, will only act to encourage an earlier shift. Of course, you can always employ the Portman's regear, which is run in tow haul mode. And in Ram, that has the added benefit of inhibiting MDS. If knowing the true speed is critical, I can always glance at Waze, unless, of course, it's plugged in and using the VSS. First world problems are a real thing. 5 stars, Dennis Durrell.
5-star review! 5 stars!
Now,
I
is he
get
talking
it.
about? Well, hold on a second. Is he talking about Waze on the mobile app?
Yes.
Okay,
when
now-
it's plugged into your car.
How in the hell is that? Oh, wait a minute. The CarPlay app?
Yes. Because CarPlay can read some stuff
On
from
CAN.
the car.
Got it.
I think so, depending on the vehicle.
Because otherwise, I've never seen a mobile app other than one that has a dongle to the OBD port. I've never seen one that interfaces with CAN.
So I don't know 100% how or if that works. I'm going off of his word, but that definitely makes sense. So
if it's a CarPlay app, maybe it gets CAN. But I'm going to do some research on that as well.
Yeah.
I'm just not familiar
and
with that.
I rather have short shifting because 3 miles an hour isn't going to be a big deal. I'd rather have the correct speedo.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed
Because
on my truck when I went to
listen,
37s, it changed the shifting.
Yeah,
for sure.
but you're not calibrated.
Right.
Number one, and number two, you can put that shift back where you need it by giving it more throttle because
True.
it's going to hang the shift longer.
That's true. You know, I might have one of our engineers at work look into that. That's interesting. Truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up with an email. We'll read it. Or leave us a voicemail on the 5-star hotline, 657-205-6105.
The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh.
What's it like to crack your voice
I
at
almost
55
got it in there.
years old?
I know, right? Let me try to get a little slower. 657-205-6105 is the 5-star hotline.
All right, you can also follow us on social at Truck
I'm
Show
going
Podcast,
through puberty at 50.
at LBC Lighting, at Sean P. Holman. And head over to truckshowpodcast.com where you can check out our events page. You can check out featured products where we can get discounts and stuff for the show. And, we love hearing from you guys. So, again, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com, Holman at truckshowpodcast.com, or lightning at truckshowpodcast.com. And thanks for listening to us. Please let us know what you thought about our Ambo episodes. We'd love to hear it. And we got to thank our friends over at Nissan. Nissan is the presenting sponsor of the Truck Show Podcast. I'd like to say proudly presenting the Truck Show Podcast for the past 6 years. Nissan is a great place to find your next mid-size truck. You can head on down to your local dealership, or you can go to Nissan USA where you can build and price your 2025 Nissan Frontier. And check this out. new Nissan Armada is on the way. I can't wait to get behind the wheel because that thing is sick.
And you know what else is sick? Your pedal response. It's so sick, it's crying. It's got a stuffed nose.
No, mine's sick.
It's just yours is sick?
Because it's sick rad, because I have a pedal monster.
Okay, yeah, you do have a pedal monster.
You're right.
Yeah.
I flipped that for you.
If you've got laggy pedal response and you just think there's nothing you can do about it, you're like, I got to live with this.
Maybe you don't have to live with it.
Maybe you have a Ford 6.7 like we're talking about, like a 11 to 16, and you're like, I love the engine, but it just takes forever to get in a boost. You need a Banks pedal monster. Maybe you've got a Subaru WRX. I mean, we have some listeners with WRXs. I'm just trying to show you the crazy breadth of pedal monster applications. If you've got a vehicle that you want to get rid of that pedal lag and have it adjustable on the fly, bankspower.com.
And when you're looking for quality full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL, a pioneer in synthetic lubricants for more than 50 years. Their synthetics deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. And Lightning and I went to the factory. We saw how the sausage is made.
I'm pretty sure that they don't make sausage at AMSOIL.
Okay, well, they do make some great...
Although they did cater some great lunch for us.
We did have some.
They did
feed us well.
Yes.
Got an oil change coming up? Then you want to head over to amsoil.com where you can check out an oil change kit that comes complete with everything you need to do the maintenance on your vehicle. That includes the oil of your choice, the right filter for your application, nitrile gloves, a sticker, and even a funnel. AMSOIL is where you go when you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck. They've got you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL is a pioneer in synthetic lubricants for more than 50 years. AMSOIL synthetics deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oil simply can't match. And if you listen to our AMSOIL episode, you'll know that the most important thing is quality. It's hard to find another product with the same quality on the market. Go to AMSOIL.com to check out the full breadth of products in their catalog. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
There has never been a better time to buy a retractable tonneau cover at EGRUSA.com. EGR just kicked off a huge sale. You can get up to 30% off plus a rebate of $250 on all manual roll track bed covers. Hit their online store today at EGRUSA.com. The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Homan and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.